All right, you guys, week 3, day 2, we're gonna be talking about identifying your future leaders. Now, we all know, and myself included in this, you probably have some hobbyists who joined. Maybe they were kidnappers, maybe they don't want to have anything to do with the business, but after they kind of got their feet wet and rolling with it, they turned out to be pretty good. Like, they're natural born, passionate about it, and they just share super easily, and people are attracted to them, and maybe they have a ton of sales, maybe they've sponsored somebody. But let's talk about how to identify your true leaders. So I have some things to look for, and these are things that, you know, myself and a lot of other upper leadership really kind of look for whenever we identify the people who we assume are going to be those up and coming leaders. So I have an entire list that I'm going to read through for you. So you want to look for people who do things without being asked. So maybe they go live in your group and they share stuff, or maybe they post things that they saw on the workstation, or maybe a training that they listened to, or maybe there was a quote that they loved that they thought the group would love as well. So doing things without you asking is something huge. Also, people who show up to things. Maybe they're registering for events. Maybe they're always on your lives every single week. Maybe they comment on the post about the Saturday team call and they're like, I loved this part. They're always showing up for their business and for themselves. Look for those people who are really active in the group. Maybe they're cheerleaders or they're motivators, and anyone who maybe welcomes someone to the group, they're one of the first to be like, hey, welcome, like this place is amazing, you're gonna love it. Just keep an eye out for those people, because they will start emerging, and those are gonna be the people that you wanna keep under your wing. Look for those people who are consistently in the top of things. Maybe the top sales, maybe they're always sponsoring, maybe they're always at 500 PRV or above, but look for the people who are very consistent and always in the tops of those different categories that you would normally track. You know, maybe these people, they just reach out to you. It's not every day that people on your team will shoot you a message, right? You're the one who is normally reaching out like, hey, you okay? Do you need anything? But take note of the people who message you asking questions like, hey, I saw you mention this, or I saw you post this. How can I use this? Or what does this mean? Can you explain this a little bit more to me? Keep notice of those people who ask those questions. You know, maybe they have a team already. Maybe it's of 1 or 2. Maybe they accidentally became a leader. Maybe they accidentally became a lead consultant, and they may be consistently hitting those numbers, but they really were like, I don't know how it happened. It just happened. But even though it just happened, they take ownership. They're like, okay, well, I have these people, what do I do with them? They're asking those questions like, how can I help these people that are now on my team? How can I help them develop? And how can I help them do what I've been doing? So these are gonna be the people that you want to help get to star. Once someone gets to star consultant, they are more likely to stay the long haul, and you don't normally get to star by accident. It's by being intentional with their sponsoring and their recruiting and their sales and helping their team do the same thing. So once people get to star, that's kind of like these are the people that I want to help. But before that, those essentials, those leads, the people that are in those levels, look for those that fit that criteria that I just mentioned. Those are the ones that you're gonna want to really kind of, hey, I notice you. Let me help you get you up to star on your journey. So your assignment today is, I want you to share in the chat, what are some characteristics of the people who you are already calling or seeing as your leaders? Do they fit those characteristics I just talked about, or maybe it's something different? I would love to know what you have been looking at in regards to leadership. And also, how can you instill belief in those people? Because sometimes you're gonna be having these conversations with people who are like, I don't want to, like, I can't do what you do, or I have no idea what I'm doing. So how can you instill belief in them? And one way is that rewarding them for the behaviors that you want to see repeated. If you've never heard of the 80-20 rule, it is very true that your top 20% is going to be doing 80% of the work, and your top 20% is going to be bringing in 80% of your income. So you want to be laser focused on that top 20%. You really can't be spending all of your day pushing people who don't want it, or believing in someone who doesn't really believe in themselves and they just keep pushing back. You need to be focusing on the people who have already proved themselves and are already doing the things that, like that list I just mentioned, they're already doing the things that leaders naturally do. There are some conversations that I've been having with people here lately and discussing their emerging leaders. And one thing that I will say is when someone shows you who they are, believe them. So if they come to you and they're like, I do not want to do this as a business, believe them. Like, don't spend your time pushing and trying to make them fit into a mold that you want them to fit into. If they don't want it, believe them. And the last thing I'll say is, even though you may be newer or maybe you are an emerging leader, it's so important to focus on your leaders, because the only way to get to higher leadership roles is to find and develop leaders within your own organization. So again, your assignment, I would love to hear what characteristics you have been focusing on or pulling out of people that are your future and emerging leaders. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye guys.